Today's show.
You know, it's funny because we both want to talk to you so bad that we're both poised, took a deep breath, ready to go, and then we're kind of on top of each other. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. But guess who got the last word?
I did.
So well, not really, because the show's not over yet.
Ken will get the last word confidently. So about the forgotten room, that junk drawer, that junk room maybe that's gone from a drawer to a room, or just that space that's become the catch-all, or maybe just that door that you don't open. When you're in your house, you prefer not to open it.
You mean the one you're embarrassed to show? You're embarrassed to let somebody in?
Yeah.
The one we sometimes put the note on the door to the house cleaner, don't go in this room?
That one.
Which room would that have been?
That would have been my creative room and your garage. We had two.
Garage. Yes, I was embarrassed to leave the garage door open because what would the neighbors say?
Right.
Oh. So I'm Ken Dekker.
And I'm Yetta Dekker. And we're going to share just a little bit.
And what are they listening to?
The inside track on real estate with the DekkerTeam.
Awesome.
So you can see how we need each other quite urgently.
Yes, because I remember where we live.
And I remember who we are. That's what we committed to do into our twilight years.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So today's show is really about that room that we may have forgotten. How can we reclaim it?
And what room is it for you? It might be your reading room, or it may be your office. It could be your master bedroom. Sometimes the master bedroom becomes a collect-all.
Yeah.
And it really infringes on the heavenly environment of having a beautiful master bedroom.
And the peace and tranquility, because you're meant to sleep in that room, among other things, but primarily sleep. And if it's chaotic, it's harder to do that. That was a challenge for us a few decades ago.
Yes.
And we got that one under control, and seldom does it get out of control. Sometimes he leaves his socks all over the place, and his pants and towels. And
but I clean that up pretty good.
Or I do.
Now, the other place that sometimes becomes a collect-all is your exercise equipment. Yeah. Your exercise room becomes the place to store your clothes, especially if your exercise equipment, like a treadmill, is in your master bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
It makes a great clothing catch-all. Yes. The other place is garages. Mm-hmm. Garages can be very full.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So this is a great question. Do you park your car in the garage, or do you park your stuff in the garage? Because for many people, it's their stuff in the garage. And so we were able to mostly put some stuff in the garage, much too much stuff in the garage, and still squeeze in the cars, at least in the dead of winter, because I don't want to be scraping ice when I don't have to be.
Yeah. You know what was interesting was that we unpacked, because we moved about 4 years ago, and we unpacked pretty much everything. Mm-hmm. There's a few boxes in the storage room. The garage, all the garage boxes, all the tools, all the different things, the woodworking tools, the mechanic tools, everything stayed in boxes lined along the floors of the garage.
Which meant that every time he needed a new tool, he just went and bought another one. Which was not great strategy. If you couldn't find it in the box. Right.
Absolutely.
And so it actually costs us a lot of money to have rooms that become the forgotten rooms.
Because you forget what's in them.
Right. And then, not only does it cost us time.
You're tired of finding it.
Right. Or not does it cost us money because we go buy the thing again. Maybe you, like me, have found that it actually costs you time because you invest all this time and energy because you know the thing is somewhere in your vicinity.
Oh, so it's kind of like your craft room, your creative room. Mm-hmm. While you were away, somebody asked me if you had one of these cutting devices that makes circles or ovals or whatever. And apparently you do.
I do. I have 2.
3.
I have lots.
I found 3 sets of those. And extra blades as well. Yeah, extra boxes of blades.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good on you. I don't know what you're going to do with 3 identical sets of circle cutters.
Well, what I use them for is when the grands or friends come over, we can all be doing our card making, and our scrapbooking was the thing for a while. Now it's more about the cards, and we don't have to share tools. We can use our own tools.
Oh, well, then I'm going to say that's the same thing. That's why I have 3 saws and 3 levels. And, you wouldn't
Okay.
want to share a tool when you're doing a job with my son or my son-in-law.
Okay, so I guess he gets the last word on that one. All right, so what do you do about that forgotten room? Because we've now identified that the biggest issues with it is it creates embarrassment, it wastes time, it wastes money. What else does it do? Those are the top three.
It changes your
Oh,
mood.
yeah, it
It's
does.
like if you've got a really messy master bedroom, it probably changes your mood when you go in there when you should be relaxing and starting to wind
Yep.
down and enjoying that room, that solitude, that sleep, that rest. And if you go in there and then you have kind of, ooh, I should have put that away, I should have made my bed. Like my daughter-in-law went to lay down on our bed a couple weeks ago, and you were away, and the family was over, and she was tired. So she went, I said, go have a nap on my bed, it's fine. And she came back down a little later, and she goes, your bed was made. How come your bed's made? I said, because if I make the bed in the morning, then 2 things happen. One, no matter what goes wrong in my day, something went right because I made the bed and I know how to make the bed. And 2, when I come home to go to bed, I've got a nice fresh made bed that I can pull open and go to sleep in.
Right. And so we've done that for years just because it feels like we had a win before the day even
I'm
started
not sure we made it this morning though. We left quick to get to the studio.
to do the show. Okay, so there's the occasional time. So Fridays
Full
when we're
disclosure here. Full
recording and
disclosure.
sidetrack on real estate, yeah, might catch the bed unmade unless we were really, really prepared days and weeks in advance, which isn't probable. So,
Yes.
yeah, that would be a day you could catch us. Otherwise, we do make it essentially every
So
day.
the room I'd love to talk about.
Wait. The energy piece
Oh yes.
was number 4. And in some ways, the most important. Because when we lose our energy or our positive energy or our powerful energy or our joyful energy, it actually shifts everything else. We lose time not just by looking for something, we lose time because we're less effective. We lose time, and actually it can cost us relationship. So, which is much harder to restore. Because if I'm thrown off, Ken sometimes will wear something.
Sometimes.
It's not always Ken.
No, someone else might wear it if they get in front of you before me.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So retaining and you don't even know, like, I don't know about you, but for me, I don't even notice often when that energy is shifted. I don't know why all of a sudden I'm tired or that I don't have the ability to function normally. And it's just because I'm not thriving in my environment.
Mm-hmm.
So that forgotten room, the biggest cost is actually energy. And then a sidebar of that is relationship.
Yeah. Emotional energy. Mm-hmm. And for me, driving up to the home, coming from work, because we work long hours, we love what we do, so we don't mind being away from home. And yet coming to home is our solitude. And that's why I have someone cut the grass.
Yeah.
Because if I come home and the grass is too long, then I don't feel good about my home. And I go, oh, the first thing I do is get behind the lawnmower.
Right. And all he wants to do is snuggle with me.
Yeah.
Right.
So cut grass or snuggle with Yetta. I always choose snuggle with Yetta. I don't know. So if I get someone to cut the grass and the weeds are done and the laneway is edged and it's sealed, so it looks nice. I love the architecture of our home. It's one of the reasons we bought it. We live in Manotick. It's a beautiful home. And when I drive into the laneway, I feel great. Now what was happening was I'd push the garage door opener. I get into the garage. I don't feel so great anymore because it's messy, it's dirty, It's stains on the floor.
And it was hard to get out of your car even sometimes.
Yeah, I
'cause
would
you
bang
had,
my door because I had all those boxes and stuff on the side of the garage.
And if you know Ken at all, you know that door dings, scratches
I don't
on
like
paint.
banging my doors.
You don't like that?
No.
No.
And on top of that, as I went up the stairs, which were, the paint's peeling off and that kind of stuff, and it was like I don't know, creamy peachy color. It was the weirdest color I've ever seen. But anyways, go up those stairs, and all over the walls was writing with phone numbers and addresses and stuff from the previous owner, who I guess he was taking calls in the garage, and he would write down the information. And I'd walk past that before I came into our laundry room entrance, which enters into the main, again, the beautiful foyer and all of that open, lovely space. But it changed my mood already.
The great news is I didn't even see it. I just was happy to get into the house and get in front of all the bright light and the open windows and the abundance of space. So I didn't see it. It wasn't bothering me any. So it's interesting that the thing that you may find as the forgotten room or the unkept room or the junk space, it may not bother everybody in the home equally. It may not even be an energy drain the same way for everybody. Right? It's one of those things that you really need to look at individually. And then because often we live with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people in a home together, it has to be multiplied. I want Ken to be in a great mood too, because he's not that nice when he ain't nice, right? When he's not happy. And so
I don't think anybody is.
No, nobody
How about
is.
you? Are you nice when you're not happy?
Probably not. And that's okay. So we want to create it not just for ourselves. We want to be concerned about those spaces that maybe are challenging for someone else.
Right. So for me, there were 6 steps to fixing my garage issue.
Do you want to know his 6 steps? Because I wasn't that interested.
Doesn't really matter if they do or not. We're going to tell them. That's what this show is
He's
about.
going to share it with you. So as you're hearing his 6 steps in his garage, what I encourage you to do is think about the room. Like even before he begins his exciting makeover of his garage, what room would you like to make over? I made over my creative room.
By the way, I did that while Yetta was away.
Oh yeah, it was way better. Way better. Then I didn't have to get caught up into the conversations about this blue or that blue. Right. So maybe the person to support you with the forgotten room is not the people that live in the house. And maybe it is. Maybe they want input. Ken didn't help me a whole lot with my creative room either. You just liked it when it was finished. I begged for help. I didn't get any.
It was too overwhelming.
Yeah.
When you pulled everything out of the closet and had it everywhere on the floor, it was too overwhelming for me to know what to do first.
Right. Whereas I managed to figure it out. It just took a little bit of time. So really just be thinking about what room. I want you to capture in your brain right now, because this is a conversation we're having with you. This is not us just speaking at you. This really is a conversation that's intended to help you move forward. So what is your forgotten room? What's that forgotten space? And it may not be an entire room. It may be a space within a room.
I was just going to say that. It could be your walk-in closet that you can't walk in anymore.
Ours got there at one point. Yep.
Yeah.
So what's the space? Or it could be just an area within your master bedroom. Maybe it is where that treadmill is or that elliptical machine. Or maybe it's a space in the TV room. Maybe it's the coffee table that gets out of control. So just think about where's that, space or room that's kind of, we call it forgotten because it's become chaotic.
And usually there's an impetus that gets you to decide, okay, enough is enough is enough. And I'm going to work on this. And for me, it was, I looked up the ceiling in our garage one time, and our master bedroom's above the garage, and there's a what we call a sub-ceiling, like there's a space between our ceiling and the floor of the garage. And inside that space is heating ducts and a return air and insulation so that the floor in the master bedroom does not get cold in the wintertime.
Right.
Now, what would happen is that sub-ceiling was hung from the floor joists of the garage with 2x4s.
Are you picturing this? It's chaotic.
No, it's not chaotic. It's how they hang it with 2x4s.
No, but maybe not everybody knows that.
They build a ceiling structure and they hang it from 2x4s from the floor. And they did not put enough supports in. So my ceiling in my garage was actually bowed down. And once we opened it up, almost every support had let loose. The nails had ripped through the 2x4, or the wood had split, and it just had too much weight for the number of braces that were installed. So that was the impetus for me.
Right.
I said, okay, now I got to open that up. I'm going to re-level my ceiling because my garage doors weren't working perfectly anymore either, because the tracks were bent down because of the way the ceiling was sloped.
So the good news in all of this was, although we ignored it for some months,
it didn't fall on our car.
It didn't fall on the cars.
It was close.
Apparently, when we did open it up, Ken and a gentleman that we know well that does renovations came and supported us. Supported Ken. I only looked out in the garage, and when he would ask me questions, I would say, would you talk to him, please? And don't talk to me. I got other things to do.
Yeah.
And so when they opened it up, though, because they did have to explain it to me, because they really wanted me to understand the ramifications and the magnitude of this. Had they not found it when they found it, it would have probably within not a very long period of time ended up on our cars. So that would have, like, the entire ceiling of the garage. So that wouldn't have been cool.
Yeah, and our garage is 20 by 24.
Yeah.
So it's a fairly big chunk of drywall and wood that would have fallen on our cars.
Right. So happy, eventually, that was the impetus. And so maybe you have to be that dramatic. Maybe you have to get to something that's significant. Or maybe you're just listening to this show right now and you're saying, you know what? That room, that area, that space in my house is actually making me nuts. It's making me feel tired just when I think about it. Whatever that thing is, don't wait till your cars are about to get decimated. Deal with it now.
Yeah, so we dealt with it. And so I've got 6 steps.
Right.
6 steps that I did. And the first step is take no lip. That doesn't mean don't take any lip from your spouse.
Oh, I thought that's what it meant.
Your partner or your housemate or whatever. What it means is the majority of properties, the driveway settles, and then you have a lip to get into your garage. And I've seen them 6-8 inches tall, where people can't even drive a car anymore because they can't get it over the lip. So when I say take no lip, it means you can get an asphalt put in that puts basically a little ramp up to your garage floor so that they're level, and now you have no problem driving in.
Right. And for you, if it's not a garage that you're renovating, what is take no lip? Like, what is that first thing that you have to address when you're cleaning it up or when you're reestablishing it? It could be access into the room, and maybe the stuff's right in front of the doorway.
Maybe you can't get it open.
Right.
So the next thing for me was the beaten door. Mm-hmm. The previous owner had children that I think loved hockey and didn't know how to hit the net. And so all around the door were dents and marks and scrapes. And so I decided to change the doors. Now that was earlier. We changed those before the garage renovation started.
The garage doors. He's talking about the large overhead garage doors. So we did do the renovation in stages. The things he couldn't tolerate, he did when he couldn't tolerate
them. In many homes we go to, the garage doors are beaten, or they're wooden and they're rotting, or they're aluminum or metal and they're rusting. Garage doors are not that expensive. They're a good thing to change especially if you're going to sell your home. It's that first impression. People walk up the laneway. The first thing they see is your garage door on most houses.
Yeah.
And I recommend putting lights in them. We have windows along the top. It brightened the garage immediately. The garage did have a window in it, but those doubled the amount of light that came into the garage.
It did. So garage doors with a little bit of window. He doesn't mean actually lights, not electrical lights. He's saying light that will come in through.
Yes, we'll talk about electrical lights in a minute.
We will get there, because you got to know it didn't stop there.
And the nice thing with having a window in there too is if I'm leaving and I forgot the light on in the garage, now I know I got to go back and turn it off.
Right. So whether it's a beaten door or what's the access point, because going into a room, sometimes there's been like things thrown at the door, or somebody's punched a door. We had a few of those to replace in the house when we moved there. Or maybe it's just the marks from little fingerprints or whatever. So just even
The
taking
kicks and scuffs on the
yeah,
bottom
the
of the
sticks,
door.
right. And or just dirt from fingers, greasy, grimy hands.
Lots of those around the garage
Yeah.
entrance too.
Yeah.
The entrance door.
Any room. So kind of taking that overview look as you're entering. Do you have easy access? Do you have clean, smooth, pleasant entry into the space?
Yep. So the next step was to take all the stuff out of it, which totally filled our shed. And it took hours and hours to cart boxes. And I fortunately had a wheelbarrow. I just filled up the wheelbarrow and carted it back to the shed time and time again. I got to get it out of there soon though, because the lawn furniture's got to go in the shed. But anyway, so the garage now is empty.
Right. So empty the space. Sometimes you don't have the luxury of taking it totally out of the space. Most of the time it's easier if you're going to do a renovation, meaning get the room under control that was forgotten. Sometimes it means drywall repair. Sometimes it means installing drywall. Could be just flooring, whatever that is required. Often it's a whole lot easier to work in an empty pallet.
Yeah.
So, or an empty space. So if able, get everything out or take everything out that you don't need anymore and just get rid of it.
Yeah. So the next was to figure out color palette. What colors would we work in? And what would the lighting be like? Because many times people forget the lighting. They do a renovation on a room and they forget to upgrade the lighting fixture.
Right.
So we had two of those $2.99 porcelain they're not even porcelain anymore, they're plastic little bulb holders in the garage. And inside those screwed into those was two compact fluorescent lights. So you can just imagine that big garage, not so great lighting, especially in the winter where it's dark all the time, or most of the time. So I decided we got the ceiling open, let's put in pot lights. So we opened up the ceiling. I put in, how many pot lights did I put in? 11?
12, I think it is.
I think it's 11.
A lot.
A lot of pot lights.
A lot of pot lights.
It's bright in there now. It's awesome. And then we painted the ceiling the same color as the ceiling in our house, which was a nice Oxford white, by the way. And then I decided I'm going to seal the floor and put an epoxy sealant on it. And with those nice little flecks of colors, that was fun to throw those up into the air and put them in the...
There's a video on his Facebook if you want to laugh at Ken playing with glitter, basically.
Yeah.
You want to laugh at Ken playing with glitter.
It's paint flicks.
Yeah,
It's
man glitter.
Man glitter.
Man glitter. Raj, you're going to love this one, and anybody else that loves glitter. So it's on his personal Facebook page. I'm actually going to move that to the Dekker. Is it not?
No, it's on Christian's.
Okay, it'll be on Ken's.
We'll get it over there.
I'll get it over there and on the DekkerTeam.
And then what I did was I went to the paint shop and I took some of those flecks of paint and I said, okay, my new cabinets are going to be black, matching the black fleck. I want to paint the walls the same color as the blue fleck. And the floor was gray epoxy. So I got a nice bright blue, very bright, for the walls. Brilliant. We repaired the walls, and also the hose bibs were frozen at some point, so they were leaky, so I never used them. So we cut the wall open, changed the hose bibs. So now we got water in the garage again. So all the things we fixed, it was awesome.
So if it's not a garage, just be again translating it to the room. Ken's so pumped about his garage that when we talked about this show, he said, I have to go room piece by piece in my garage. Yeah. So I'm just encouraging you to go piece by piece in the room that you need to do. It may not be hose bibs. It may be broken switch plates on the wall or electrical outlets, or it could be something that isn't grounded properly or the GFI is broken. So it may be different things that you're dealing with. Lighting is always one you want to be thinking about, though.
And in my garage, the floor was stained. It had some oil stains, some different stains, garbage stains, whatever. And you might have stains on your carpet from different life happenings. And
like nail polish from a child knocking it over.
Yeah, something like that. So we sealed it. It's all beautiful now. It's a gorgeous floor. Now we're about to build our cabinets, our steel cabinets. The second thing that we decided was the skirt of concrete wall in the garage.
We didn't decide.
We decided.
No, we didn't decide.
Yeah, my handyman and me, we decided that the paint probably wouldn't stick to it. It had been painted before. So we would get metal fabricated, the diamond shiny metal, with the pattern in it. We'd get that put on the concrete wall, so that'll be easy to clean. It'll look great. And you know what, Yetta? I'm enjoying coming home into my nice garage.
I'm very happy about that. So what will you come home to that will make you really happy? And I actually am happy about it, because if it makes him happy, it makes me happy.
Yeah. And some people use a garage. I'm going to park cars in my garage.
Yes.
Other people use their garage as an extension of the home. They might have their exercise equipment in there. Sometimes they put a TV in there and they put carpet down.
Yeah. I've seen laundry rooms in there, mud rooms.
Well, laundry room's just wrong for a garage. That's not a man cave. That's a woman cave.
Oh.
A man cave once,
Actually, you know what? He says that, and yeah, Ken does most of the laundry in our house. So don't let him fool you. That's why I became speechless again this time.
I know. I told you I get the last word. It could be a creative space. We have people that put wood shops in their garage. They put repair for their cars or their lawnmowers or whatever. They might make a hobby room where they do glass work or stained glass or that kind of stuff, right? So garages can be a big extension to the house, or they can be a big storage room, or they can be a place for your car to live in. And I think the original intent of a garage was for your car to live in.
Right. So what room are you going to start living in with more enthusiasm that's going to save you money, it's going to save you time, it's going to save you relationship, it's going to save you energy, it's going to give you significant joy because you have not forgotten about it anymore, rather than you will be thriving in the space. So what room is it for you? And when? So here's the second half of that. You identified the room. That's fabulous. Now, when is the by completion date? And then lay out a project plan as the timeline and what steps need to happen, because it may mean you need to have some assistance. I ended up having to do it on my own, even though I tried to get assistance. Somebody wouldn't help me. In Ken's case, he found somebody that would support him, and actually the other gentleman, Christian, did most of the work. Ken did the sparkle throwing. He did the fun stuff and moving the things out of the garage, because he couldn't bear himself to have somebody to pay somebody to move the stuff. Even though I finally said, do it, because it's making you crabby. Hire somebody. Because you're getting crabby about moving those things to the shed, and I ain't helping.
Yes, and so, and to have the last word, go to our Facebook page, like us, or whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called now, on a DekkerTeam Facebook business page. Like it, be a fan, whatever it's called, and I'll post on there a after photo of the garage, so you can take a peek at it. And sorry, I don't have a before.
Thanks for moving forward together.